So if you're holding Rune on Binance, KuCoin, FTX, or pretty much any centralized exchange, you're actually holding the Binance chain BEP2 version of Rune and not the native THORChain RUNE. And so we're going to go through two different ways to switch this Binance Rune into actual native Rune, which is important because this will convert your Rune into the actual useful form where you can swap to other chains on THORSwap and also add to liquidity pools for yield. And this also takes your Rune into your own true self-custody, so you're not reliant on centralized exchanges, and you can control your own keys, so you could never be locked out of your coins. So first off, as far as wallets, you have a variety of options on THORSwap. For this example, we're going to be using XDeFi, which we already have a tutorial on how to set this up from scratch if you're new to that. But the process would be essentially the same. You could use Trust Wallet with Wallet Connect, you could use Ledger, you could use a key store, and it would all follow the same steps. So one way to do this is to just sell your Rune on the centralized exchange and then send a different coin over to your wallet to swap for Rune. And the reason this could be the way to go is because there's sometimes an arbitrage. So for example, right now, the Rune price on Binance is $5.59, but the Rune price on THORSwap is only $4.93. So with these first steps, we're basically going to sell our Rune for $5.56 and buy Rune for $4.93. So we're going to end up with more Rune, and it'll be in the native form. And then we'll go through the second method, which would be a bit simpler, but that's just a one-to-one upgrade. So that would be the best way to go if the price is pretty much the same. So for the arbitrage method, we're going to sell our Binance Rune on Binance, and we just need to buy any token that's on THORSwap, and we can swap from that. You could really do this with any of them, but the fees for swaps depend on which chain you're swapping from. So for this example, we're going to use BNB because it's really cheap and fast. But you could also get Bitcoin, Doge, Litecoin. Ethereum would, of course, have higher gas fees, so you might want to avoid that. But the steps would be the same. So let's head over to our Binance, and we've got our Binance Rune here, and we'll just go to trade, and I'll just go to the BNB pair because that's what I'm going to be using. And then I'm just going to sell, to make the math easy, I'll sell exactly 20 Rune. Okay, and that went through. So now in my wallet, I've got some BNB. And now this BNB here, we're going to withdraw to our XDeFi wallet. So let's get our address from XDeFi. And be sure not to get confused. There's both a Binance chain and a Binance Smart chain. What THORChain uses is the BEP2 BNB, not Binance Smart Chain BEP20. So in XDeFi, if you're not sure if you're using the right one, the address should start with BNB, not 0x. And if you're seeing the wrong one, just go up to settings and go to chain management and make sure Binance is turned on, and you could turn off Binance Smart Chain if you're not using it. So now let's get our BNB address. And again, you could also just do this with Bitcoin, for example, and send it to your Bitcoin address. Pasted my BNB address, and no, I do not need a memo since this is a non-custodial address. And I'll withdraw all of this BNB and click withdraw, and then just go through some security steps and submit the withdrawal. And we'll see that's awaiting approval. Part of the fun of a centralized exchange is that it's kind of up to them, but BNB itself is very fast, so hopefully they get this sent right away. All right, a few minutes later, it's showing completed. So let's check and see if it's in our XDeFi. And yep, it's there. So now let's go over to THORSwap and connect our XDeFi. And then let's just go to swap. And we'll be swapping from BNB to Native RUNE. And let's just go with all of it. But I'm going to leave a tiny bit for myself just for a fee. I'll refer back to this later. You don't have to do this though. And you can see it's saying we're going to end up with 22.75 Rune estimated compared to the 20 Rune that we started with. So that's taking advantage of the arbitrage. So then we just swap and approve this. Confirm it in XDeFi. and we can watch it pending here. And it says received. So now we have 22.77 RUNE in our wallet, and this is Native RUNE, and we started with 20 BEP2 RUNE on Binance. So now let's go over the simple one-to-one upgrade. We're going to be using Binance Chain again. We can also copy our address from right here. And let's head back to Binance, back to our wallet for our BEP2 RUNE. And now the rest of this RUNE, we're just going to withdraw it as is. We'll enter our BNB address. Again, we don't need a memo. And we'll see it automatically detected that this is BNB BEP2. But again, be careful with that. Do not send a Binance Smart Chain address starting in 0x. And then let's withdraw all of this Binance RUNE. Submit the withdrawal and wait for that to show up in our XDeFi wallet. We can just check on THORSwap and wait for that to arrive in our wallet. And it'll show up here on the Binance chain in just a minute. But to do this one-to-one upgrade, it is a transaction on Binance chain. So you'll need a tiny bit of BNB to cover that fee. So if you don't already have just a tiny bit of BNB in this wallet, you'll have to send over a little bit of just normal BNB as well. So let's refresh. And there it is. Now our BEP2 RUNE is showing up right here. It's even prompting us click to upgrade BNB RUNE to Native RUNE, or right here, there's a little convert button. So let's convert all of this BEP2 RUNE to Native RUNE. And again, there's a tiny fee in BNB because you're sending a transaction on the Binance chain. So make sure you have that little bit of BNB, and it's going to arrive to our native THORChain address. Then go ahead and click upgrade and confirm this transaction. Sign the transaction in XDeFi. We'll see the upgrade pending here. And boom, send 19.9 BNB RUNE, received 19.92 Native RUNE. And we can confirm all the RUNE here's in our wallet. So that first 20 became 22 or so, and then the second 20 was a one-to-one. So that's it. That's how you turn your Binance RUNE into real Native RUNE. So then you can go ahead and swap with other assets on THORSwap, or add to liquidity pools, or just hang on to your real native THORChain RUNE.